So, hi, my name is Nicheole Amundsen, and James and I have been I've been involved in commercial real estate for about 25 years, and him for 6 or 7 now. So we have been teaching. I've started teaching this about 10 years ago, because I saw so many issues with people not really knowing what they were getting themselves into and people getting education on acquisitions. But the truth is, to make things really work on the long term, you need to have a pretty good focus on managing properties, because that's where it really is in the long term. And to get properties closed, you really have to get good at raising money. And so I wanted to put all of that together, and that's what passive cash flow for life really is. It's a 36 module course that is on demand that deals with all of that and more. So I'm still investing, although not as actively as I used to be, but I'm still out there, still doing it. I have properties in 11 states. Tonight, we're going to focus on property management, on one of the aspects of property management. And I'm doing I'm doing this for passive cash flow for life and for our virtual real estate academy, which are with our partners, Jane and Sharon. They thought this might make, and there they are. They thought this might make a pretty good topic for the residential field too. Have you, Jane or Sharon, have you got a couple words you want to say before we get started?
Sure. Appreciate everybody being here, and hopefully we'll get some more folks coming in with the link problem. But yeah, and we were lucky enough to be blessed with partnering with Nicheole and James with the virtual REI Academy. We've not delved into multifamily, but just doing some residential stuff, and we've been investing since 2016, and just trying to give back a little bit. And there's our website on there. We also have a free webinar with some creative strategies. We can put that in the link. It's a pretty good little webinar on how the things that are coming up now, like subject to and some different ways to invest. But take a look at our website. There's some freebies on there, and it's also we have a lot of courses, and all these courses are taught by practitioners who are actually investing and not just saying they're investing. So we have a lot of great courses on that. Anything you can think of on demand, and we've watched all of them as well, and they've helped. They've added things to our repertoire that we didn't have before. So never know too much to keep learning. Earners are
Yep.
earners.
And what you see there on this slide at the bottom is the Virtual Real Estate Academy's YouTube channel. And this this webinar will be posted on their YouTube channel and on the one for passive cash flow for life. So you can see it either way. Those generally get posted up about before the end of the week. And you will all see all the other Teaching Tuesdays that we have done on a playlist there. So let's go ahead and get started. And what I want to talk about tonight is tying bonuses to performance. And I'm going to give you kind of a minute backstory here to why I started doing this. So before I retired, I worked for the Department of Veterans Affairs for many years. And part of those years were in our headquarters offices. And in our headquarters offices, we had healthcare facilities all around the country, and I was in charge of primary care, and so there was about 300 clinics across the country, and there was no way for me to be able to understand what was happening in any of those clinics without measures and results related to the measures, so you could quickly see how things were going. And I was also involved for a lot of years in the Malcolm Baldrige Performance Award program, which really focuses on results. And so between the two of those, I began being convinced that you have to have data and you have to use the data to make decisions. You have to have good measures to be able to actually get reliable data so you can see what is happening and take action. And that led me to focusing as I began investing more and more. So I have properties in 11 states. Then I need to be able to quickly see what's happening. And that led me to performance measures, which led me to bonuses related to performance. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. So typically, bonuses in a lot of the multifamily world, if people get bonuses, they are associated with Christmas bonuses or things like that. For me, bonuses are tied to achievement of performance goals, performance measures. And I make them nice bonuses so that people are really willing to work for them. People get the bonuses for hitting targets. And those targets should directly relate to the accomplishment of the things that you are trying to accomplish at that property. And we're going to talk here in just a minute about where some of those areas are. And I am going to talk more about bonuses and measures in an upcoming class. So here are some common areas for bonuses. One of them is achievement of the net operating income. That is the measure that is kind of the key measure of how a property is doing, because it's all income minus all expenses, with the exception of the mortgage and the interest on the mortgage. And it is the NOI, as we probably all know, that determines the value of a property. So this is a key measure, but it isn't the only measure, because this one really only looks at finances. And that's really important to being able to keep your property, but it isn't the only thing that has a property really performing well. So other things that we typically have performance around is occupancy goals, turnover. So the reason for turnover in controllable expenses. So you have expenses that you can't do anything about, and you have expenses that you have some control over. And turnover is the single biggest expense you have that is controllable. So meaning you can't really control what the taxes are. You can't really control what your insurance is, what you're going to have to pay. But you should be able to do some things that diminish turnover. And in fact, across our portfolio, on average, the length of stay, now I have to tell you, kind of back up here for a minute, is that my data comes before COVID. So, but before COVID, the average length of stay in an apartment was about a year. And our length of stay is running 4 to 5 years. And it's because we do some things specifically to try and focus on keeping turnover down. We have measures around collections. We have measures around work orders and accomplishment of preventive maintenance. So one of the other things, one of the 2 or 3 things that really causes people to move, other than, they got a job somewhere else or they bought a house or something like that, is that they can't get things fixed. So work orders aren't in a timely manner. or there is they don't feel safe there, mainly because of partying or the police coming or things like that. Both of those are controllable to some extent. And work orders and preventive maintenance get at the how well we're doing at keeping up the property. And service is really about customer satisfaction, how well people can get in touch with us, how well we respond, how they're feeling about the property. And the last area is kind of accomplishment of major goals or things that we're trying to accomplish. All right, so I want to say one thing about that last item. Those first 6 items, we're measuring every year. Those kind of are telling us how well the trains are running on time and how well the property's performing. The last one is getting at every year, we're going to try and accomplish 1 or 2 things to make the property better. And so it's a strategic or a tactical goal. And we're going to measure and watch how we're doing at accomplishing that. All right. Okay. So I have, these are performance measures, and there are a lot of them are related back here. So these are common areas for bonuses, and these are common areas for performance measures, and they pretty much match each other. All right. Okay. So I want to stop here. I want to kind of change topics here for just a minute, but it's still about performance measures. So I don't know if any of you come out of the quality world, but J. Edwards Deming was sort of the original guy who talked about performance improvement and quality improvement. And he talks about a triangle, which is the Deming triangle, also known as the iron triangle. And at each point in the triangle, you are looking at 3 things. One is finance, because if you don't have money coming in, your business isn't going to last. The second is quality. So, are you providing a quality product or service? So people are happy with what you're doing. And the third area is customer satisfaction and or access to services. And if one of those is out of whack, then the other 2 tend to suffer. And in a lot of our multifamily field and a lot of our measures in real estate, the area of focus is really on money. It isn't on the quality of what we're providing, and it isn't on service or access to being able to talk somebody to get something addressed, right? So what we do in all of our properties is have at least 1 or 2 measures in each of those points on the triangle. All right. So service, a lot of times what we do is we do just kind of a online customer satisfaction survey. The big issue with that is getting enough people to respond that you have a meaningful result. The people who tend to respond are the people who are not necessarily happy with you. Typically, we have 6 to 10 measures. And we have, so if the property's big enough that we have staff on the property, then each of the staff is going to have primary responsibility for 1, 2, or maybe 3 measures. And their bonuses are going to be tied to accomplishment of those measures. The overall property, we're looking at 6 to 10 different things, but nobody can keep their eye on 6 to 10 things. So what we try and do is focus down so that everybody is focusing on 1 or 2 things. Now, if we have a small property where there's not staff there, then we are going to try and limit the number of measures we have, because now it's our regional managers that are going to be paying attention and collecting the data on these things, right? So I just wanted to kind of point that out a little bit. All right. We're going to use charts, and I'm going to show you a chart here in a couple of minutes that are posted on the walls or are made available to people so that they can see visually how we're doing. That really does a whole lot better than numbers most of the time. If you can actually look to see how you're doing quickly in a chart. At our smaller properties where we, again, don't have staff, we are keeping those in a file. We generally don't post all of our the measures on every property up. There wouldn't be any wall space left. But what we do have is them in a computer file in a folder, and people are looking at those at least once a week to see how we're doing. Now, some of these measures we're only collecting quarterly, but we're going to keep track of some of the things like collections and turnover and maintenance on an ongoing basis, so we don't lose focus, right? Even in our small facilities, we have a regional office that is going to be responsible for how well those properties under the region are doing. And if it's a small property, sorry, you guys, whoops. If it's a small property, then we still have regional maintenance people who are responsible, if not for doing the work, then finding a contractor to go out and do the work. They're still responsible for making sure preventive maintenance gets done. People are still responsible for the customer satisfaction survey. So the measures are fewer, but we keep track of things and somebody is still responsible. So if I don't have a maintenance person at a, 10 or 15 or 20 unit property, I am going to have somebody in the regional office, and their bonuses are going to be tied to how well we do on the properties that they kind of oversee, right? So one of my favorite sayings is right there under that which gets measured that gets done, and that which gets rewarded gets done better. Because it's helping them put some money in their pocket. But it isn't just money. Rewards and recognition go a long way too. So if it's a smaller property, and you have somebody who's, say, they're half-time, that's an on-site manager. Say it's a 30-unit property, and you have somebody who's there a day and a half a week. Then rewarding and recognizing somebody, goes a long way. People want to be, I think most of us want to be recognized for what we do and how well we do it. And there is a real tendency in all of us to focus our attention on the things that aren't getting done well, where things are not going well, people who are not doing well. So you're people who are not paying. So you focus on the, I won't say bad actors, but the problems, and you ignore the things that are doing well, and expect it's just going to continue on without you having to pay any attention because it's doing well. And the issue is that if people aren't recognized, if good work isn't recognized, if your residents who pay on time all the time, who keep care of their properties aren't recognized, then they stop caring so much. And so I would rather actually focus on people and things that are being done well, as well as needing to have to focus on the others. But I don't want to ignore them. And I think that's one of the things, actually, if you were to ask me, one of the things that makes our systems work, it is that we reward and recognize not only staff, but residents who are doing a good job. Okay. And so here are the things I just said, that the reason most people move, maintenance neighbors, they don't feel safe, or they're ashamed to bring people to where they live. So our properties are primarily, excuse me, blue collar properties, a few kind of B properties, C properties. But even if there are the C class properties, um, we still try and make sure they look nice, that they're well cared for, that they're safe, they're well maintained, and that people aren't ashamed to bring people to where they live. And that doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Um, we run our properties at 40 to 50% expenses, and that includes vacancies. So, do we run as cheap or as inexpensive? I won't say cheap, as a lot of people know, but we also don't have the turnover. We don't have a lot of the problems. We don't have the longer term maintenance issues because we keep up with preventive maintenance. Um, so we just talked about recognizing residents who are good residents and staff who are doing a good job. Now, I want to show you, I want to take an example here of one of our properties. This is, and some of you who've been around a while know about this property. I'm going to kind of switch to this, and then I'm going to come back. So this is a kind of a picture of this property. I bought this fairly early. I think I bought it in oh gosh, let's see, when did I buy it? Um, oh, it's got to be about, it had to be in 2003, 2004, something like that. I thought I put it down, but maybe not. Um, it was when I was in my early days, and those big units and big numbers still scared me. And so a lot of these are fairly small properties, the total of 33 units. And you can see where the purchase price was, and where the current value is. And so we put over 15 years or something, about $2 million in equity. The average rent now in September 2023 is about $1,200. But Pittsburgh is one of those markets where rents are starting to trend down. So it may not be as good next year. But that equals about $14,722 of cash flow to me a month. So that's kind of what I put in my pocket after all the bills are paid. So let's come back here for a minute. So, it was a 2003 that we bought it. And so I bought four properties, and you can see what the numbers are. This was before the pandemic. I pulled this slide from another presentation I'd done. And then this is probably 6 years or so ago, maybe 7. This was kind of probably, no, it's probably 19, 18, 19. But you can see that the rents have gone up a lot. Cash flow's gone up. And so that's the power of time. But on average, we've added about 8% in value per year. All right, so now I'm going to go on. So here are the performance measures for Pittsburgh in 2023. So I don't have all of the data yet, but I'm going to show you 6 months here in a couple minutes. So here's what it looked like about. The income was about 36,000 per month. I'm sorry, that's 36,000 per year. Expenses and vacancy are about, no, that is per month. Expenses and vacancy are about 17,000. The mortgage and the interest on the mortgage is about $4,600. So the loan was $760,000 at 5.2% to 5 for 25 years. And so the mortgage is about $4,600 a month. As rents go up, etc., the mortgage stays the same, and I'm paying down the mortgage. So the NOI target for this year was $175,000 at the end of the year, or about 14,583 a month, and we backed it off to about 14,500. That's what our target is. So I'm going to show you just the net operating income measure so you can kind of see what this looks like. So our actual measure is by December 31st, 2023, the NOI for the year will be $175,000 or better. So here's the bonus, the performance bonus that we've set up for our property manager. Now, this one does not actually have a property manager. There's only 33 units, but we have a couple of other properties around Pittsburgh. And so this person also manages the staff there. I have a pretty big mobile home park that's not too far from there. And so the mobile home park staff also manage these properties. And so we do have a bonus structure for the kind of Pittsburgh group, for lack of a better word. And so this is for the manager is on site at the mobile home park, but also covers these. So for the bonus, if they make the bonus, they get $2,000 annually from this property. Now that's not the other properties, right? But they have to hit 100% of the NOI target. If they exceed the target by 10%, we're going to give them another $2,000 bonus. So what I want you to look, my goal is 175,000. If we increase that by 10%, that's $17,500. I can afford to give better bonuses, $2,000 and some others for people if we exceed that NOI by 10%. So we also are there's $1,000 that is shared now again for these 33 units with the staff to hit the NOI goal. So everybody's going to have to be putting their work in so that we hit NOI. And so they are going to share $1,000. And if we exceed by 10%, they're going to share $2,000. And everybody knows this. We come in with the goals, we come in with the targets, we have discussions. I don't, but the property management company does, about what the goals are going to be and are they achievable, and what is going to be tied, what kind of bonuses are going to be tied to this. All right. All right. So I wanted to have you, I thought I had oh, I know, I need to go back. I'm going to, I need to stop sharing and see if I can pull up another document here that I forgot. So James and Sharon, if you guys want to sort of talk or say something here, let me see if I can find this other document that I wanted to show. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to go back to my, let's see if I can pull this up.
I guess I would just like to reemphasize the part about at the end of the day, everyone just wants their contribution to be recognized. And it doesn't matter if it's doing this It doesn't matter if it's executive vice president for a Fortune 10 company. It doesn't matter if it's your kids. It's pretty much across everything. At least I have noticed that this really, really works. But to Nicole's point, also, you have to have some sort of benchmarks in place that they can work towards in terms of the contribution. But I think that's like a fundamental principle, just I think just in life. But yeah, it's huge.
All right. Can you guys see this? Can everybody see this now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is actually our graph. So we're not posting all of this, understand? We're just posting the graph. But I wanted you to see what the numbers are here. So this I'm just starting in April. So I couldn't get it all on something and make it look reasonable. So our annual NOI target is 14,500 a month. And this shows you, now you can see down here, you can see that we are pretty much on target. If I was to move some of these, so down here is can you see these numbers down here, everybody?
Yes.
Okay. So with this is what the target is, and here's what we actually achieved. Now there is a blue line behind this, which you can't really see unless I blow this up. This last 9, because what we're trying to do, it's a cumulative number, right? And so we're looking at adding this with a goal of 175,000. Right now we're at $162,001. So we have about $13,000, and this is the end of September, over the next 3 months. Do you think we're going to hit that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Because we are doing about that every month. So we may hit it. Are we going to hit 192,000? I don't know. But we're in pretty good shape. And if we come close to it, I am likely to authorize those bonuses anyway, because people have worked really hard. So that's what this looks at. Now I'm going to come over here and I wanted to show you kind of what this looks like. And this is, again, what you saw on the other slide. And this thing in blue, I want to show you, this is how you have to define terms in a measure. So you saw the NOI, and these are terms. The definition of terms means, how are we going to measure this? So this includes all monies collected from all sources across the year, including laundry, billboards, etc. Expenses include money put aside each month for taxes, mobile home taxes, insurance, attorneys, accounting, etc. Now, this is not for mobile homes, but understand this is a kind of, when I'm writing, when we're writing these, this group also has that mobile home park. Expenses include travel expenses for owners and property management. It does not include money collected as security deposits, which actually belong to the residents. And this is what the property makes before money is moved to the capital reserve fund and the mortgage and interest are paid. So this is the NOI. All right, so that's kind of what I wanted to show you, and I'm going to stop sharing this, and I want to go back to the last slide here. And this is, if you look at this, this is our YouTube channel for the multifamily, and this will be posted up there as well as the Virtual Real Estate Academy by the end of the week. We also have a webinar that talks a lot about this class I was talking to you about and what all we teach in it. If you're interested in the course that we are giving, if you watch this webinar all the way through to the end, you get about a 25% discount on that price. So I'm going to kind of leave it there, And I'm going to stop sharing and we're going to see if we can take questions from anybody. Anybody who has any questions or comments on this or any other topic. I forgot to drop this over at the end to James and Sharon for the last, Sharon and Jane for the last comments. So I'm sorry, let me turn it back over to you guys.
Hey, Nicole. Well, thanks for that. There's a lot of parallels between residential and multifamily, and I think sometimes we learn a lot more from some of your multifamily tricks that like we give out incentives and stuff in the way of gift cards and whatever, but that kind of hit the mark there with having measurable things and different things. We don't have a big team, but as we get bigger, that'll be things for us to keep in mind because people do want to be recognized. And even for the tenants, yeah, you do concentrate on the problem children as opposed to the ones who don't give you any headache. And we do things with them with the gift cards and stuff for the kids at Christmas and whatnot. But you had some really valid and good points, so thank you.
Well, you guys do more than most if you're giving gift cards and things like that. Most people don't pay attention to residents or staff. James, have you got any words here you want to?
No, because it all sound exactly like what you said, because I've learned everything from you. So, um, but again, I think that no matter what you want to do, whether it's multifamily or single family, um, I am incredibly grateful that I was able to find Nicheole and take her course. And at the same time, be able to meet Jane and Sharon. I'll give you two examples as to why I think, anyway, education is so important. So, one example is a woman that came up to me at the meetup after she had bought a property and she asked if I would take a look at it. And like I always tell people, that's fine, meet me at my Starbucks and I'll sit down with you. But she did. And after about 5 minutes, it was a horrible, horrible deal. And I told her, and I told her, you need to get rid of this because this is horrible and find somebody else that maybe wants more of a tax appreciation, whatever it may be, which she did. And by the time she was done, she lost, I think, between $15,000 and $20,000. And this was a bright woman. She'd done a bunch of flips. She's very high up in the government. So, but she was not educated on how to do multifamily. Kind of the same thing with, and I'm sure Jane and Sharon have a ton of stories like this. And I talked to somebody else today that was looking for a deal, and this is somebody that Nicheole knows that we just talked about, that was just completely uneducated, and both of us told him, "Oh my goodness, please tell me you did not sign a contract," because he doesn't know what he's doing. So in real estate in general, get like anything, get educated, shorten your learning curve. Nicheole has a phenomenal course. The Academy is fantastic. And I put all the links up there for you guys as well. So anyway, that's all I have to say. Sorry, I probably talked too long. Go ahead, Jane and Sharon.
I totally agree because like Jane said, we want to also, we want to delve into some multifamily too. And we've been evaluating them and looking at them and, as you know, running some past you. And we wouldn't feel comfortable doing that unless we had the course under our belt to review and look at the modules, so to make sure we're on track and looking at the numbers. Because I mean, we do single family and all, but multifamily is a whole new ball game. And you have to know your numbers even more, and then you have to worry about the reserves and the condo fees and the assessments and the types of rentals that are permissible in that building. So it's you really do have to know what you're doing, and I'm thankful that we do have your training and you guys to help us with the multifamily side.
And boy, do they know their residential side. Boy, they've got they're in 11 states and done over 100 deals in the last couple of years, and so it's proud to be partners with you guys.
We're very thankful and happy for you both.
Yeah. All right. So, any questions for anybody? There are two pretty faces.
I think we should put our dog on there.
He's a pretty dog. Just so you guys know, when you go to actually the academy, there are, I never keep count. I think it's either 45 or 55 actual courses that are on here. They teach you anything from the basics to wholesale rehab, a bunch of other stuff, how to run a business properly, all sorts of different stuff. And I would encourage you just to go check it out. There's descriptions on here about what the different classes are about. And then at no cost, there's actually a non-members resources site here, which has some good stuff for you. So even if you just go to get more information, download a document or something like that, there's a wealth of information there. And then obviously on the multifamily side, this is our kind of step-by-step system. There's, I think, 36 steps in here to be successful in multifamily. So hopefully you guys will take advantage of that. We have all been educated, we hope, very well, and had great success. So we encourage you guys to do the same thing.
And let us take some questions now. So I'm going to open it up for please ask any of the questions you may have.
And you can unmute. We have a small enough group. You can do that.
Yeah. Anybody?
Alicia, do you have any questions now that you're going to have your 2 rentals coming up here in the next few months? Sorry, I will put you on the spot.
I guess my question.
Can't hear you, honey.
Hello?
Yeah, can't hear you. You're really, really low.
Can you hear me now?
Better.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. One question that I do have as far as the tenants, I think Sharon, do I have it right? Sharon, you mentioned doing gift cards for your tenants.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is do you have like a limited amount that you do, or do you consider gift basket, or is it always a gift card? My other question is, as far as maintenance, do you charge your tenant any fee for maintenance coming out or maintenance person coming out?
No, for maintenance, no. And our gift card amount is just it's different. Obviously we get soft spots for some people. Just an example, one of our tenants lost their daughter to leukemia, and then they started raising her 2 sons. One's autistic, and just some other challenges that were kind of thrown onto them, grandparents, now parents, because they're young kids. So we kind of look after them a little bit more than what we do others, but they don't cause us any grief. They take care of stuff. Some tenants that don't call for every little maintenance thing, if a light bulb's out or, whatever, we'll just, Christmas time, or it doesn't even have to be a holiday, just say, hey, thanks for looking after the house if they keep the yard nice. So it varies. It could be something as simple as you'd be surprised how happy people are with just a $15 Starbucks card, or $25 at Walmart goes a long way when you're raising 2 kids that you didn't account for, that you didn't think you were going to be raising. So just different amounts, different tenants, nothing specific.
And that's another thing, like if it's like something special to them, like their move-in date or one of their birthdays or something, send something to them on like not just a federal holiday, but like a holiday to them, that it makes them feel special. Oh, you remembered our anniversary, or you remembered our birthday, or something like that. Or we knew both the kids, their birthdays are in the same month. And last year we took them over a cake and some presents. So just little things like that.
So we do if somebody, so we do charge for some maintenance calls. So if a kid drops a toy down the toilet, we're going to charge them for having to go get that. If they lose their keys and we have to make them another key, we're going to charge them for that. But it is those things that they have caused themselves that they're going to be charged for, and that's in our leases. But other things, no. I mean, if something stops working, we're going to be on it to fix it.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else on any real estate related topic? You've got 4 full-time investors here. I would take advantage. Okay, and nothing in the chat, James?
Nope, unfortunately not. All the links are in there for everybody to take advantage of, but no questions. Very quiet group tonight.
All right. So next week then what we've got a friend of ours named Steve Leray, who has Leray Insurance, coming in, and he's going to present for both multifamily and residential, but it's 2 different presentations. So one of them, he's talking about things you really should be looking at related to commercial real estate, kind of some of the exclusions, how you kind of evaluate those kinds of things. And then in residential, he's going to talk a lot about insurances for rehabs, what you should really have, what you shouldn't. If you're controlling a property, like in a subject to, as opposed to having the deed, some of the things you need to think about, etc. So hopefully you will be willing to listen in. I think Steve's now, his company is can write insurance in 40 or so states. So they're expanding. One more call for questions, and then I'll see if James or Sharon has any last things, but I don't see a need to keep on doing this if nobody has anything to that they want to talk about.
I guess we're kind of excited about the insurance stuff. That's still one thing that, kind of when you call the insurance company, they have a whole bunch of stuff that they ask you questions and you're not really sure, sometimes. So that was something we kind of had to get more well versed on. Initially it was just we need insurance. We bought a house. We got to do it before we close. Start the insurance. I don't know what kind, but start it. We need it. So it'd be interesting with Steve, and hopefully he can maybe come to Florida. I don't know if Florida is one of his 40 states, but that would be most helpful because everybody's leaving Florida. So yeah, you guys should definitely listen to that one.
There's
All
also
right, everybody. Does anybody? Did I hear somebody start to say something?
no, I was just going to say in terms of uh, property management or tenants, I guess. There's a really good one on Teaching Tuesdays, the playlists on either channel that are up there on there that Miranda Bolin, who's like a superstar property manager, talks about in terms of finding the right tenants and stuff like that. So if you haven't heard her, I would encourage you to take a look at those because they're really very, very good.
All right, we thank you for coming to join us and hope to see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Hi guys, have a great night.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.